welcome to my channel. My name is Cristina and I come to you from Lisbon, Portugal. So today I'm here to talk about my July TBR, the books I'm going to read or that I intend to read in July. And first I like to tell you about some books that I don't have in physical form. So in August I'm going to take part of the have to read along Faulkner in August, I think it's the name, and it's going to be to read the book Sanctuary. Because I have only read one Faulkner book, which I loved, As I Lay Dying, I am going to read with some other people the book The Sound and the Fury now in July. So I already started. I read the first chapter or the first part. I think the book is divided in 4 parts. And like As I Lay Dying, it's not a linear book. So you have to, like Poirot would say, exercise your little grey cells, because it is a workout, a brain workout. But I am enjoying it. Then the other book I am reading, which I have in physical form, in digital form only, it's the first book of the Mistborn trilogy, The Last Empire. So I am reading those in digital form. Also, a book by George Eliot from the, I don't remember the name of the read-along, but it's a read-along that Kim from middle of the book March is leading, if you want, and that's to read the George Eliot novels. And we read Adam Bede and Sadas Marner, and now we are going to read Mill on the Floss. And I read the first 2 chapters, I think. I don't know if I read more. I now can't remember, but until now it's been very funny because she while talking about, we see the characters and their dialogue and the characterization of the characters, it's always funny, and it always brings a smile to my face when I'm reading and makes me chuckle because she's quite funny. Okay, so those are the books I have in digital form, I think. Mill on the Floss, Last Empire, and The Sound and the Fury. Then I am continuing my reading of Divina Commedia, so the Divine Comedy, and I am in Paradise, not very far away. I should have read it in June, but I'm a slow reader here in this poem. And also I had started, and I'm going to continue this series here. It's historical fiction, as a very well known series, so of a captain and a doctor that have lots of adventures. It's from Napoleonic Wars that time. So those are the 2 books I am continuing. And then apart from Mill on the Floss, I am taking part of all the read-alongs and buddy reads. I cannot learn to stop myself, and so I am in with Kate Howe and a lot of people from her Patreon. We are reading The Mayor of Casterbridge, which was, I think it was, every 2 months we vote for a book, and this was the book that Christy Lewis chose, and we are reading it. I already read the first 2 chapters, and lots of things happen. I think it's not a spoiler, but in the first chapter the main character sells his wife and daughter to a sailor that was passing by because he was very, very drunk. And that's the beginning of the story. So now we are going, I guess, to see the consequences of this. I don't know. Then I'm taking also part in Jane Austen July, of course, being my favorite author, I think. And I decided to read a novel. So I'm not going to do the read-alongs. They are the organizers chose Mansfield Park and Persuasion. I love those. I love every Jane Austen book. So if I have time, I may read or listen to the audio because I read them so so many times that I almost know their book the books by heart. But again, we always find new things every time we read. This time I decided to read the book. I don't know much about it because I read it when I was young, and I don't know, I must have read it once or twice. And I am now going to read it, and I'm already enjoying it. I read I don't know, the first chapter or the first two as well. So yesterday was the 1st of July. I decided to start everything. So I don't know if I read only 1 or 2 chapters, but I enjoyed. No, I read the first one, where we the main character, she's called Catherine, and we see the beginning of her life until she is, I think, 17. So and now the main part is going to begin. Again, Jane Austen is very funny. She makes fun of everything. For example, a short example is the fact that at the time many women were always kind of faint and weak, and they would die of childbirth, for example. And she now here describes a character where she's very sturdy, healthy, had 10 children, and never had any physical ailments or problems. So she's a little bit, I think, making fun of how things were at the time with such a different character. Also, we are used to parents being very strict and contradictorians, if you want, to their children, and these parents don't believe in that. So it's very, very interesting. If I have the time, I don't have here, but I have a book on the way to me, which is what matters in Jane Austen. And I saw many people talk about this book. John Mullen, I think it's the author, and they say it's fantastic and it's very good and so on. So I am going to try to read that book, and then I have this book makes me feel a booktuber. Why? Because it was a book I found in a second-hand bookshop here in Lisbon, and as far as I know, is the only second-hand bookshop that sells books in English. But of course, the price is not the same price as. But I find it funny that the book it looks like has here some thing New York, so it was bought by someone in New York. But as you can see, the price is marked here. It was €7, which is not cheap. Of course, it's cheaper than the book as new, but everyone tells me that it's a good biography, so I'm looking forward to read it as well. Finally, the book that perhaps I am most looking forward to read is this one here, and I also read yesterday the first part and it was fantastic, and it is a very heavy book. It's my so it's the Silmarillion, which is a very beautiful book but very heavy, because the pages are all those types of paper full of beautiful images, but very heavy. And I started and I read the first part, which is called Ainulindale, and it reminds me of the Genesis. So, like in the beginning, there was a void, and then God said there must be light, and so on. So, and then created the angels. Very much like the Genesis, and lots of other. We can see lots of other references, like the four elements, like earth, water, air, fire, and other references, and which always it's very pleasing to me to be able to spot those references. I always say that the more you read, the more enjoyment you have in the books you read, the new books you read, because they very often have references to other stuff. So, of course, if I hadn't read the Genesis, I wouldn't know that this was much a repetition of the Genesis in, of course, new way, but in a fantastic, if you want, from fantasy way. But it's so, well, Genesis is also very fantastic, but I mean, in this case we have they're not called, the creatures are not called angels, they are, but we can see the parallel even with the most powerful angel and what happened to him in Genesis. We here have a very similar case. So this is going to be, as you can see, a very packed July. I hope I can read all these books because I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm enjoying every bit I read until now from all these books. I am already enjoying them very much. So let's see if I can keep up the pace and read them all. I'll see you next time. Bye.